like a little bit
I mean,
of a loss for you.
yeah, so the problem is, you notice, like, you just saw all the micro I had to do to make my Marauders more efficient against that Roach Hydra army on the west side of the map. And so that was really affecting that drop in the back. Ideally, that's drop for Marauders, snipe the Queen, get back in the Medivac, and pick another target, because I was not being efficient towards the end of it.
Yeah, one of those things where a little extra hand speed never hurts. And here, another huge push by Cats at your expo. And now this is even a little bit more dangerous for being lifted. And of course, you're doing the good old target fire. And one thing that is really... It annoys me more than I like it, the fact that Hydralisks and pretty much all units target Medivacs almost above anything else. So it looked like, you know, a lot of Medivacs are ending up falling here. But, you know, you're getting a lot of Marauders against Hydralisks. And I know that in large numbers, Hydralisks are a little bit more effective against Marauders. But in these low numbers, are you still favoring a big, heavy Marauder number? It looks like you only have 2 barracks with reactors.
The thing is, like, yeah, if the armies get to, you know, 50, 75, 100 supply worth of Hydralisks in different units, Marauders start to kind of lose favor. The Hydralisks are definitely doing a lot better. But my logic here is, if we're getting a battle that's 75 supply versus, like, his 75 supply of units versus whatever I've got, I'm going to lose because I'm behind. Yeah. I can't, you can see right now, 57 supply to 90 something. Like, I don't, I can't afford to play for that later game. And so I'm focusing entirely on small unit skirmishes in which Marauder Medivac is extremely efficient.
That's an excellent point, yeah. And I mean, everything about your game plan is in line with that. I mean, not even really mining very much gas in the main. Just heavy emphasis on, looks like just Marauders at this point. And you're rapidly closing the gap, and you even killed off this gold expo at the bottom location, and you have a few Marauders just hanging out in the middle of the map. And because it looks like you are very low on money, you even only have 7 mineral patches alive, are you going to favor more Medivacs, or with all the money, are you going to be getting primarily Marauders? Because I know that you're tight for resources here, so what do you favor in this spot?
The key really is to always have some number of Medivacs, and that depends on the size of your army. So if my Medivacs go down, I'm going to get more. If my Medivacs don't die, I'm going to be using that money for other things.
But is 3 or 4 Medivacs about the number when you start saying, alright, time to just go all out Marauder?
I mean, that, again, just depends on how big the Marauder army is. If I had 30 Marauders, ideally I have like 8 Medivacs, and so I'm really, really emphasizing the heal. When I'm just doing like 10, 15 units, 3 or 4 Medivacs is all I really need.
Sick. And it looks like you just, there's this poor little drone here who's guarding the hatch, and you just got facial by a ton of Marauders, so easy. And there goes down the hatch at the north end, and it looks like QXC is trying to aggressively expand. And, you know, I'm looking at this expo at the right by QXC, and I think that this right expo is long overdue. I feel like that really would have been the big key for Cats, was to take that right expo. It seemed a lot more drop-proof than these gold ones.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot easier to defend, too. The distance from his main to the left side base is a lot farther than to that third on the right side.
Yeah. Now, you know, at this point, you know, obviously with your money almost gone, you're going to probably need an expansion coming up very soon. So, you know, I know a lot of times when you're in this tense of a situation, you really are just going to be lifting your main orbital command center and trying to do some junk with it. Was that your plan? Were you gearing up to take a third at any point, or were you still in that gotta stay strong in the mid-game, gotta be aggressive mode?
This is, after I killed the 2 high yields, I basically had him, I knew he was on 3 bases because I had a scout over there. And the plan is, I always have to stay mining. If you ever get to a point in the game where you're not mining and the opponent is, you're on the losing side.
Yes. And Jesus, as we're seeing here, I mean, you've closed the gap down to within 10. Well, within 15 after that poor little Medivac fell. But still, a lot of Marauders. Yeah, looks like about now you are, in fact, lifting that orbital command. We have a ton more Marauders coming out. And finally, it looks like Cats is getting a little bit more of an anti-Marauder mix. A lot more Zerglings in there. It was primarily Roaches, and the Hydralisk mix started to swing back in, and now we're seeing more and more and more Zerglings. I would say in small numbers, you can be pretty confident with Marauders against Zerglings, you know, with those Medivacs there and with the stim. I mean, do you have similar feelings on that? I'm still seeing you move out here with 2 Medivacs and about, looks like 10 or so Marauders.
The main problem when you use Zerglings against Marauders is since the Marauders have that base 1 armor, and then you get them in a big cluster so they don't get surrounded as easily, it's pretty hard for the Zerglings to actually overcome the heal unless they've got something else backing them up. Particularly since a lot of the times you're killing, like the auto fire just tends to kill the ones that are closest to you. So you kill the ones that are attacking your units, and then a new line comes in, and there's a little time where you get heals, and you're not actually taking damage, and all that kind of adds up to making Marauders pretty efficient against smaller numbers of Zerglings.
Awesome, yeah, and I'm going to pause this game real fast. There was this really nice move that I wanted to emphasize, how, you know, you took your force of, you know, Marauders, and most people, I think, when you exited this big fat ramp outside of your natural expansion, I think a lot of players would have favored moving down this way and then over to this right expansion, knowing that that was, you know, the most recently taken Zerg expansion. But I absolutely love that you moved up northward, because for one, you get to check this gold expansion, so, you know, you can obviously kill that off. 2, you set yourself up to be able to do this nice drop that, you know, you're clearly doing up at this north end. But I think the thing that makes me love it the most is the fact that it protects this left expansion that you took by moving northward. Because, you know, obviously, if you move down and to the right to try to take out this right expansion of Cats, your new expansion, which is, you know, looks like going to be the only thing mining for you in just a minute, that is completely and totally vulnerable. So you're awesome, Kevin. Nice work, man.
Thanks, man. You're the best.
Right. I'm going to resume in 3, 2, 1, resuming it. So you're doing this nice giant drop up here. Again, more of this spreading the opponent out. I mean, some of these units are even still being rallied up there, but huge move in here. And look, there is probably the 1000th queen that has fallen this game, just killing that off relentlessly. And it finally looks like now you've kind of evened the score.
Yeah, you can see the supply is about equal. I'm still down. Like, if you take a look at the units. Oh, I guess I'm not actually. I was gonna say take a look at the unit loss station. I'm actually doing. You can see the efficiency of my units.
Yeah. I mean, you've killed way more resources than he has, and oh man, just a little tiny counterattack is so brutal. Would you ever switch up your rallies to deal with this?
Depends. It really depends on how big the counterattack is. If, like, my natural at this point isn't super important. Like, gas isn't gonna win me the game.
Yeah.
Minerals are. That's, my whole army relies on that big number of mineral income, and so, like, it's not a big deal for me to lift my main, it's not a big deal for me to lift my natural, there's almost no money left.
Yeah.
But my rally points start to reflect what's most important in the game, and so I'll start to rally to my third base, because if I lose that, it's over.
Yeah,
it really is.
And it looks like, God, these little Zergling counterattacks, I mean, I think this is a great lesson for, you know, any Zergs who are in one of these low econ situations, that little pokes with these Zerglings are huge. And also, I love the Cats' spitting creep all over your front so we can have easier retreat paths. And it looks like your orbital command might barely fall. Still not seeing any Marines come up at any point here. I mean, are Marines anything you want to be emphasizing?
I mean, if he had gone Mutas, which probably would have been a pretty strong move at this point, my Marauder-only army looks pretty silly.
Yes, indeed. It's just a little bit too hard to just aim up with those grenades. And, oh, yeah. Jesus. Nice running here with the against the Banelings. Seek. So, I'm curious. I'm actually going to pause briefly because, I mean, looking at this, there's a little bit of hecticness going on up here at the front. I mean, you're not quite mining at your expansion. I mean, you have some SCVs near-ish. Did you think you were winning at this point, or did you still feel like you were playing from behind? And if so, when did you actually feel like you'd got a little bit more of an advantage on your side?
Can you tell me what time you are? I got desynced a little bit.
I'm not actually going to say the time because I don't want to spoil
Oh,
it, but
oh, right. You can't say the time. Sorry.
right now, the orbital command, the second orbital command, is right about to land at your command center. Or, excuse me,
Okay,
about your third.
I got it.
Sweet.
So at this point, I've basically decided that I'm winning. The
Hmm.
shift happened a little bit earlier.
Was it when he
It
was
was
trying to barrel your front down, just like sending tons of Hydralis and trying to even push up your ramp?
it was a little before that actually. It was
Hmm.
the point. There was one point where I moved north and I caught a large portion of his army
Uh
not
huh.
doing anything, and I
Yeah.
killed a bunch of that. And then I followed it up with a drop, and I killed I think 4 or 5 infestors in a row.
Yeah, yeah. Up in the
And then
main.
his